Okay. Second and final roundtable of this European Week of Digital Social Economy. So I want to thank again the European Economic and Social Committee for welcoming us today. Thank you, Giuseppe. And also our partners, Programme Société Numérique of the French National Agency for Territorial Cohesion, and Crédit Coopératif, which is a bank of social economy. So we will pursue the discussion that began today about the link in between social economy, digital social economy, and democracy, with maybe more concrete illustrations and a focus on public sector and social economy partnerships to build a more sustainable and fair digital model in Europe. So for that, I'm very glad to gather a wide bench of great panelists, and I will invite each of you maybe to present himself or herself, beginning with my neighbor, Sara.
Sara de Heusch, Director of Social Economy Europe.
Maxime Baduel, Ministerial Delegate in charge of Social and Solidarity Economy for the French government.
Julia Rio, Director of the Numeric Society Program.
And Giuseppe Guerini, number 2. The first is Social Economic Committee, now Giuseppe Guerini, SECOP.
Klein, Team Leader Social Economy in DG Grow.
Denis Stokkink, President of European Think and Do Tank pour la Solidarité.
Thank you very much. So as I said, we have a great panel of social economy and digital social economy experts here. And I will begin with a first round of questions about the existing partnerships in between public and social economy for a fair and inclusive digital model in Europe. So maybe Giuseppe, you can begin with some example of the cooperative world, because we see that cooperative can be really inspiring with models, especially about digital commons or data managing in Europe, and I think you have a very good example to share.
Okay. Thank you very much. The first, I think that is one issue really important is, I come back to the data issue. All of us, every day, we produce a lot of data. Every day, public institutions, and first of all, European Union produce a lot of data because every document that the European Union publish in the entire website is a real important database. If you put in mind the functionment of Google Translator, for example, is principal based on data produced by European Union, because European Union made a translation in 24, 22, 23 languages, every law, every document, almost every document. And so this database is public database, but the value created by on this data, it's used principally from the big company, and they are not European company. And so the first is we need to grow up our competition on new technology, on digital economy, because if we don't raise up our capacity or competitiveness as European continent, we are really in a worst situation also to defend our way of life. The role of social economy, I see before, is really important in this case. And I put on an example, the cooperative platform. As you know, the platform economy is one of the main important way for innovation. Someone talk about Uberization of the economy, Uberization of the industry, Uberization of services. And the cooperative can be an alternative. And there is some very interesting proposal. And for example, we can create an alliance between policymaker, regulation, and the social economy organization. For example, about the workers. As you know, European Commission proposed a new directive on workers that is involved in platform economy. And one of the proposals that is raised up in this occasion is, okay, we can use cooperative as an alternative to maintain the ownership in the platform economy for the worker, for example. But there is some other example. In French, I talked with a colleague during the break. In France, there is an important, interesting platform created by the cooperative to organize car sharing in the rural area. This is it's Mobicop name. I don't know if you know. It's really interesting. But around the world, there is a lot of good practice that is created. In my town, again, there is one really little social enterprises. This is created by one cooperative. They start to provide services for psychological support during the pandemic for people that cannot go. They need, for example, a support. And this is the day start. Okay, it's a relation. It's easy to understand, easy to realize to have a psychologue, to have people that can do this one. And they develop another really interesting tools is based on analysis biogenetical. It is a proposal coming from the cooperative. And so there is some really interesting proposal that we can create. And the alliance between social economy and public sectors is really important because I say before, we don't have so many money to realize big investment. And so we need to create an alliance because we can maintain an European way for digitalization. We can maintain a real democratic participation on digital economy. And so that is good also for public institutions.
Sure.
Last word. The 5 big company, multinational company that work in the digital sector, called GAFAs. The pill produced by these enterprises is more than the economic value of Germany. And so if we don't organize one real democracy economy, the power of this big company is more greater than some state.
Thank you, Giuseppe. So, Sara, on a more wider prospect, what is the power of social economy in reshaping maybe the digital world? We heard there's many sectors in which cooperatives especially can perform, like digital health, for example, or mobilities. But there's maybe other inspiring models within social economy that can address territorial or social issues more efficiently than the market. And of course, we need the help of public actors to accelerate on the transitions. Environment is, of course, one other issue.
Thank you for the question. Well, Giuseppe was saying it a bit too. It's about what type of digital world we want, and as someone else said earlier, it's the digital world has an impact also in the physical world. It's not that permeable. So there's the example of the cooperatives. Cooperatives are one of the family of the social economy. There's also mutuals, there's associations, there's foundations. They each have their role, their areas of expertise, also their fields, their unique point that they can bring to shaping this more democratic digital sphere that we would all want. And what all of them have in common is putting into life in their practices, in their organization or enterprises, some basic principles that are very close to the democracy, in the sense that it's putting the primacy of people and the community, environmental concern over profit. And the second one is the one of allocation of surpluses on social purpose. And of course, there's the participatory democratic governance. If we can have a digital world that is shaped around these values, I think we would be in a much better world. The social economy already participates in a lot of things linked to digital. We participate in digital inclusion against the digital divide, digital literacy and education more broadly, alternative platforms, you've mentioned some, and services as well. Mutuals also provides quite some services through digital services. There's the development of free and ethical tech software, and there's also sovereignty of people over the use of their data. You talked about data co-ops as well. All this are things that we already do, but we do have to go a step further as a social economy. Because digital is really a game changer in the way that economy develops and the way it impacts our societies. We've spoken of a lot of things, threats to democracy. But it's a game changer also in terms of production and consumption. The creators of the World Wide Web wanted to facilitate the sharing of knowledge. They were creating something like the commons. And as in the commons movement, what we're seeing now in the World Wide Web is an enclosure by the profit makers, those who only aim at profit, I mean. And this is we've seen now the threats that it has had on our society at very different levels. We also at one point in the previous panel about the fact that people are more and more divided in their opinions, and that we lesser and lesser know how to talk to each other because we're all convinced everybody's thinking like us, because we're only talking to people who are thinking like us, unless we go in the arenas where we're really going to have opposite visions. But it's in this social media, we don't have places to really discuss. We're just saying how opposite we are, and everybody wants to be right. And it's an issue. And indeed, that's why the digital can help to transmit ideas, but it can also focalize the differences. And so we have to be careful of what type of digital world we want. And if we come back to this idea of commons and social economy, what the digital world should be, in this view, would be a shared resources. And we're talking both about the tools, the infrastructure, but also the flow, which is the data, right? And social economy can shape all of these to make a more democratic digital world. In the commons, there's also the question of focusing on creating and maintaining a resource that is sustainable. And we could maybe enlarge the principle of sustainable to sustainable, peaceful societies, which is not the case right now. Democratic governance is also a very important aspect on how the resource is managed, not only on the decision making. And there's always, of course, the idea of this social purpose. Now, data is the new gold. We used to say oil, but it's not a nice word today to talk about oil. So let's say it's the new gold. It has amazing opportunities and great threats. We talked about the threats on democracy. We've seen how it has shaped elections in the States, the Brexit. But now let's imagine now that we have a dictator that comes to power. This dictator would have so much power on everybody, on the opposition, like never before. This is a huge threat, not that we still haven't really seen here in Europe, at least. But we also have to be aware of the threat that it can have on shaping individual wills, because we are sometimes formatted and we can be easily manipulated. Now, if it's to buy a bag, it's not a big issue, but when it comes to political views and views on society and misinformation, it's way stronger. So how do we rebuild a digital world based on general interests? We do have to bring around the table different stakeholders. We need policymakers at local level, national level, European level. We need people from the tech sector to be interested in developing this, but we need the funders as well. But really, we have to have a collective strategy of what internet we want, because it also is a reflection on what world we want to live in. And social economy actors, we should bring all the actors together, but maybe this is for after.
Thank you very much, Sarah. So we have to accelerate digital social economy to sustain democracy, to sustain also social services, and to develop new models. And I think the European Commission took the lead, maybe way ahead of some national states, on the acceleration of digital social economy. So maybe Patrick, you can explain how the new mandate, and especially with the Social Economy Action Plan, but also with the Transition Pathways Roadmap, foresees the role of digital social economy as the future of social economy, but also as a warrant of democracy and social cohesion in Europe. And maybe how you work along with, because you're from the DG Grow, so you are more on the market area, but how maybe your unit is working with other parts of the EU Commission on this particular aspect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Indeed, it's important, to remind that in the European Social Economy Action Plan, we focus a lot on digital transition, digital technology, in particular, in the field of the green areas, and of course, working with stakeholders for the digital transition. What is important is that, and this is something that I have heard, this afternoon, is some key words, key concept. I think that the first thing that is important is the co-creation process. So a co-creation process, because we cannot, as public policy makers at EU level, do everything on our own. So in the former debate, I heard you, Mr. Guerini, you said that it's important, that stakeholders take part, for example, in and participate in action, like replying to some specific questions from the Commission to prepare legislation. I think that that this is key. Co-creation in the field of digitalization is very important. I would say as well, partnerships. So again, when you implement the project, and I like the expression when we have to walk the talk, it's important that we all go together, to create the right partnership with the real investment. Now, walking the talk, what have we done in particular in the field of the social economy action plan concerning digitalization? We decided that it was important, for social economy stakeholders, to be part of this transition, and we have co-created with them a transition pathway, which is, let's say, a kind of strategy, in the field of the green and on the digital transition. And last year, in spring, we have worked with more than 400 stakeholders to work on green and digital transition, and we told them this is a process that is not led by the Commission, but co-lead with you. So the question is, what should be done in order social economy to be, let's say, more prominent, and take the lead, in the digital transition? And we came with 7 key action areas. I will just mention maybe 1 or 2. We saw that, for example, the development of new form of partnership, of entrepreneurship, is important. Like, for example, as you mentioned, the digital cooperative was very important. We see as well that it was important to diffuse access to technology and to find the right investment for this. And it's important as well that social economy get the right digital skills. Let me remind you that this year it's a digital year, European digital year. If we want, social economy to be very active, prominent, and to be, let's say, a digital player, I would say that those working in social economy areas, the workers, needs to have, the digital skills necessary. So we have seven key areas, and now we are inviting social economy stakeholders to commit themselves and to come with pledges about their engagement, their commitment for the digital transition. There are many things that are happening, in Europe, in member states, in region, in localities. So I think that, again, this is a word that I have heard some minutes ago. I think that social economy, players can be really game changers, so they can bring, their some added value, to the discussion that we have to create, let's say, a digital that is more fair and more inclusive for everybody. So now what we are doing, we are gathering pledges. We have now more than I think it's 150 pledges that we received. It's important, to work, to accompany, I would say, those pledge takers, and to do some matchmaking, to help them, to create partnerships, and to show that in the digital world you can really find, social economy players that act, for the good.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I will just change the plan now and give the speech to Denis, because Patrick, you talked about digital skills as a very important aspect of the transition pathway and social economy action plan. And Denis, I think you have a very concrete example of what can be done to illustrate that.
Effectively, when I heard Patrick speaking, I just thought it was organized to a transition between his words and mine. So I will present a concrete European project, an Erasmus-funded project, where SOGA and Pour la Solidarité are partners. And this project is Social Tech Academy. The goal of this project is to build a platform of resources on digital skills for the social economy and social technology sector. Social technology, or social techs, refers to the use of technology to drive societal and citizen-focused impact, so as we all know. Through our initial project research, we found that while many social economy organizations see the benefits of collaborating with tech groups, there is still a lack of understanding about technology's potential and the tech sector itself, as well as the competencies gaps. Social Tech Academy project aims to address this by providing skills development, guidance and best practices sharing to key target groups, social economy actors, young people, and those looking to reskill or find new career opportunities. The project platform will soon feature online courses, a guide to career options in social tech, and a database providing actors driving digital transformation in the social economy across Europe. We hope that the Social Tech Academy will become the go-to hub for developing and spreading digital competencies tailored for the social sector. In conclusion, by developing the digital skills of social economy actors and their future employees, the Social Tech Academy platform will be highlighting careers in social tech and pave the way for new collaboration, co-constructions between actors by equipping grassroots actors, so from local level. Social Tech Academy will ensure an inclusive digital transition that benefits all actors. This project will strengthen European social and territorial cohesion challenged by digital divide.
Thank you very much, Denis. Indeed, we worked a lot on role models on this project to enhance the professional that already exists within social economy on digital expertise. And I think Julia, as the French National Agency of Territorial Cohesion, yeah, just to finish the question, as a French National Agency for Territorial Cohesion took the lead on an incubation, really, of digital inclusion projects, and most of them are from social economy. You are even a shareholder in a cooperative as a state for the digital inclusion. I think you have a lot of great projects that can be really illustrating for what we are discussing today. About digital inclusion, but also about digital commons that Sara quoted before. Thank you.
Thank you. I will illustrate with a big picture for beginning. After the COVID, we had a budget that we never had before, like 250 million euro, which was, as I said, never seen before for digital inclusion, and it marks the advance of a new public policy for digital inclusion based on existing network, notably those supported by the social economy. In fact, it's a popular education in digital technology that is being promoted in the same way that the social economy ecosystem has been acting for many years. Digital literacy enables users to learn about the opportunities that digital technology offers. This popular education in digital economy must take place throughout the user's life. To this end, 4,000 digital advisor mediator have been deployed, and 40% of them within social economy association. 23 digital commons have also been supported to equip the digital mediation sector. And one of these projects, for example, is run by SOGA. Social Tech ESS aims to initiate and co-construct training courses in cross-disciplinary digital skills adapted to players in the social and solidarity economy and aimed at digital mediation employees. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Maxime. You are not really new to social economy because you are a member even before working for the government. But also maybe you're new to this conversation and you have remarks, but also maybe proposition or testimonials, I don't know, to share. I give you a speech.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to thank you, Jeanne, for your invitation. Thank you to the SOGA, to the European Economic and Social Committee also for the organization. As you mentioned, to be honest, I'm not a digital specialist. But I'd like to start by reminding you that our European continent faces two major challenges in the years ahead. The first one, bringing our modes of production and consumption into line with the planetary limits we are facing. And the second one, to ensure an inclusive economic development that leaves no one behind. Sara mentioned it before. We talked about it a lot during the last few months, and even more this week with the summit of the Spanish presidency of the European Union Council in San Sebastian. There is a European momentum for social economy. Social economy is something like 3 million structures, 14 million jobs in Europe, and it has a role to play in that. Because, first of all, it's an economy that has placed the social and ecological impact of its structures at the heart of its activity, but also because it provides inspiration for the mainstream economy through its values and principles, and we talked about it before about the civic text. So if we can maximize the development potential of social economy over the coming years, our continent will be stronger and more resilient, basically. So this is why digital services must help all these transitions. With both digital revolution and the weight of social economy, we have to make digital companies and services more responsible by offering models that are democratic, fair, and sovereign, as you mentioned, Giuseppe, but also to put digital technology at the service of the development of this sustainable economy by lightening the workload of structures and enable them to concentrate on their social purpose. So today we can see that social economic players are not taking sufficient advantage of digital technology as a tool for productivity and as a tool for data science, in particular on their sector of activity. This is sometimes because of the ethical constraints of mass market IT solutions, sometimes because it's not part of their culture, digital transition. But at the same time, the social tech has created champions of the digital commons, such as OpenStreetMap, Wikipedia, Framasoft. This is a set of open resources, democratically managed by communities, which aims to bring everyday solutions to citizens. So it's a challenge to implement the digital transition. It's a challenge to finance it in France, but also in Europe. For example, in France, we are working hard to increase the capabilities of solidarity-based finance. We will allow employee saving funds to dedicate 50% more of the amount available to social economy, something like 800 million euros in the next month. So that's why we need to go for it together by strengthening partnerships between social economic structures, but also public sectors at all levels.
Thank you very much, Maxime. Indeed, now it's time to converge. And this new round of questions will be also a conclusion for this week dedicated to European digital social economy. As you said, Giuseppe, we now have to get on the digital transition bus all together and to strategize the digital transition, but also the digital models in social economy. So my question would be, what should be prioritized in the next few years? And I will pass the mic to every panelist here, beginning with you, maybe Giuseppe, on your cooperative prospect, but more widely.
I think that the first is work together. In the 29 September, we organized SECOP and SICOPA, or international network, in Bologna with one foundation created by cooperative movement on digital innovation. We organized an event called Coding, to bring people coming from many countries that is involved to organize in cooperative new solution in many activity, welfare solution, transport solution, and the basis is the cooperatives. One of the issue really interesting is I explained also before, is the platform approach. We are lose more time, too much time, before to understand that platform can be a really disruptive tools to innovate cooperative approach. And now we run because we need to reach some achievement, because if we are not in case to propose our way, we can also lost one part of our identity as a democratic way to promote economy. And for that we need to invest in 4 kinds of innovation. I repeat this proposal in many occasions. The first, we need to create financial innovation. Also using, for example, it's called the crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is a really interesting tool. Many social economy organizations use crowdfunding, and so we can learn to use better this kind of innovation in financial sector. Again, to attract social impact investment. We need to work again in social innovation. Social innovation is one of the expectations that move European institutions to promote social economy. Social economy is interesting for institutions because they create social innovation. All people talk about twin transition in Europe, green and digital, but we cannot realize any transition without involved people and without social innovation. Meaning innovation, because the innovation today is also change the means of the tools, the means of the way of life. And it's really interesting to put in mind that the meaning innovation is the unique that is not realized by artificial intelligence, for example, because in the future artificial intelligence can change proposals and create proposals to create, for example, crowdfunding. It's easy for artificial intelligence tools to organize. It's easy for artificial intelligence promote technological innovation, for example, for welfare service, domotics, tools to support people robot for assistant, personal assistant, okay? But the meaning is real human way. And this is important if we maintain connection between meanings and our value. And our value is, first of all, solidarity, inclusion, cohesion. And this is one way to promote digital innovation in social economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Oops. Denis, maybe a word on what, in your opinion, should be prioritized? What is the power of social economy to reshape digital model? And maybe what are the priorities of digitalization within social economy?
I would now like to shift focus to discuss the importance of implementing the transition pathways proposed at the policy level, and that has just been presented. While the European Commission is championing the digital transition through initiatives like the transition pathway that we all know, real change happens on the ground. It's crucial that local organizations and communities are empowered and supported to access emerging opportunities in technology. By cultivating digital skills specifically for the social sector, Social Tech Academy, our project, will help social economy actors overcome what is likely to be one of the main challenges, a lack of digital literacy and knowledge of emerging technologies. Looking ahead, social economy organizations may struggle with limited budget to invest in IT system and training. To tackle this, it's necessary to promote collaboration between social enterprise, governments, and tech partners, the three. Such public-social partnerships can facilitate access to funding, equipment, and expertise. Through the project, we aim to play our part by cultivating digital skills in the solidarity economy, fostering new partnerships, and providing job opportunities. By developing digital services of general interest and encouraging public-private cooperation, we can help to guarantee social and territorial cohesion as Europe undergoes widespread digital transformation. Ensuring no one gets left behind is both a moral and economic imperative.
Thank you very much, Denis. I think the transition is, again, very natural with Patrick. Patrick, I know the roadmap is already set for the transition pathways, but what would you prioritize as European Commission within the few years to come?
Thank you. Maybe I would like to reply to Denis. I agree with you, and this is something that we have to do. We have to create partnerships, as I mentioned, and what is important is really, at local level to help, local actors, to enter into this digitalization process. This is the reason why we have decided this year under the single market program. This is a program that is managed by our DG to finance dedicated consortia gathering social economy actors, public policy officers at local and regional level, research centers to really work on digitalization. This call for proposal is still open till Monday, so we never know if some of you want to work during the weekend to prepare it. But anyway, it's important, to say what we have to do, but as well, to finance, project on the ground to achieve result. Having said this, I think that what's ahead, in the coming months for us, I would only mention maybe one project that is important, is about the question of data management and sharing in the social economy. We are, as we have said this afternoon, producing, a lot of data. We share a lot of data. The question is why and how the social economy can be different compared, to other parts of the economy. This is the reason why we have decided to create with stakeholders a code of conduct. We have already a code of conduct in the tourism sectors, and we decided that it was important to showcase what we can do, especially for the social economy, and working together with the stakeholders in the social economy to achieve some results. For this, we are going to work with experts. We are selecting experts to work, and the deadline to submit application will be early December. So it will be really, again, a co-creation process, showing best example, helping, social economy stakeholders, maybe to commit themselves as well, with some general, I wouldn't say rules, but general ideas about the question of data management and sharing. So again, as I mentioned, as I said before, it's not doing, a policy strategy alone, at EU Commission, but really working with the stakeholders, to achieve tangible results. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Maybe Julia, speaking about data management, also because you created a community and maybe a new methodology to co-design public policies on digital inclusion, but also on digital commons. What are the priorities for your community in the few years to come to develop digital social economy and reshape digital model?
As I said, the National Agency of Territorial Cohesion have organized a major national consultation to build a new national roadmap for digital inclusion. It's called France Numérique Ensemble. It was announced in Bordeaux last month at Numérique en commun. It is based on 4 commitments: local governances, tools, training, and reliable, open, and usable data. The first commitment is about territorialise public policies for digital inclusion. The aim is for each area to have its own local strategy for digital inclusion with its own governance, including the states. Structures from the social economy are essential within these governance structures to create a local alliance between social economy and local public authority where none exists for some territories. Furthermore, the renewable of aid for the digital advisor that I mentioned before has a favored associative and private structure. The second commitment about tools is to give some tools for digital mediator and advisor. The aim is to provide with a suite of tools to support them in their missions. Training for digital advisor and professional and digital helpers too. The aim is to create common training resources that can be shared and consulted by all. And finally, data, better collection and organization of data will be achieved to encourage the opening up of data to all public decision makers and players in the social economy.
Thank you, Julia. And Sara, maybe you would share some of the ideas we co-designed already in San Sebastian a bit, and maybe others, that should become a strategy for European social economy in a few years to come?
Well, yes, indeed, there was a time for social economy to coalesce because of different families. There was a time to lobby for an action plan, and now it's the time to coordinate actions. And I think this is something we're not used to doing. Taking a map and say, you do this, we're going to go there, we're going to go all over the place. But we're going to have to do that now. And we have everybody around the table, actually. We have a great community. We have people who are working in tech. We have people who have financing capacity. We have people who work on skills. We have people who work with local communities and more. And we have, and we are active in all sectors of activity. So, I mean, we have everything we need to do it. We just have to sit on the table and really say, okay, how do we want this digital transition to happen? How do we want to make all this work for the better for social economy? And on the same time, how do we want to democratize and make digital commons? And how do we want to use this data? And how can we make it function for society instead of for profit? And for that, indeed, there's the question of how we're going to share it, this question of technical issues like interoperability and data space, and there's also the question of content for what are we going to use this data. And I think that if we really manage to get everybody to open their data, well, to manage to collect it for one, to share it, and then we can really coordinate actions as never before, and we could be very powerful. And yeah, that's the little program for the next years to come.
An ambitious one. Maxime, in San Sebastian again, you shared views with other government members. There were inspiring speeches, I think, or the one of Sven Giegold about data again, but this time about enhancing social economic data and also enhancing its role models and inspiring models to accelerate and scale up. This is a word we did not use, but it's time to scale up. So what would you prioritize as a government member now in France, but also in terms of European cooperation?
Thank you. Yes, we were talking a lot about the partnerships between social economy and local, national, European public authorities because they are fundamental. And about digital transition, I think these partnerships are the solution. I'd like to maybe highlight three main challenges for the coming months. The first, it's fighting the digital divide and strengthening democracy. Second, about providing information that is accessible, comprehensible, and adapted to the smallest player of the social economy, and enable them to communicate about their actions because they have a lot of troubles to do that right now. And finally, using data science to understand social and ecological needs. In France today, I think we have something like 40 million people which have difficulties with digital technology. It represents something like 20% of the population, so it's huge. And there are also places or territories where basically internet connection is bad or impossible. Social tech can offer solutions in partnership with local authorities and to provide basic skills to all citizens also. But it can also provide solutions for digital accessibility and enable equal access to digital tools. It's also a question of democracy and sovereignty because civic tech, for example, plays a crucial role. Digital tools and platforms developed in the field enable greater citizen participation by facilitating collaboration, transparency, and we talk about that. Before democratic commitment, they strengthen participatory democracy and collective decision-making, and we need that for the next month, and I'm thinking about the election in June. I'm also thinking about the challenge of communication and access to information for the smallest players of social economy. How can we let people know what they do? How digital can help their mission of providing social support and guidance? And how can we highlight the public policies and assistance to which they may have access? These are key issues for the efficiency of our social services. Finally, I think we lack of data on social economy. We discussed about it. Maybe we can analyze things, but first we need data to analyze things. For example, I remember in France, we realized during the COVID crisis that we did not have any data, especially on associations. What are the sectors of activity and economic models? How many volunteers or employees in the structures? What are the basic financial requirements? So it was just discussion, and no data, basically. So it was very, very hard. Because during a crisis, as you all know, it's fundamental to design quickly the solutions. We have to design adapted solutions, and for those who need it most, so we need data. Digital technology in the service of partnerships between government, statistical agencies, and players in the field can be very powerful tool for the renew of our public policies, and we will work on it in France in the next month. I think tomorrow challenges will be also to mobilize these tools to better understand the needs, the strengths, the weaknesses of social economic structures, to build new public policies and maybe new kind of partnerships, especially at the local level. So all these challenges are challenges for one member state, but also for everyone and for the European Union. And we discussed about that with Patrick this morning. I think we will work with the European Commission in the next weeks to find solutions together.
Thank you very much to you all. We have, I think, a great panorama of solutions, of needs analysis, in fact, but also of perspectives to dig in all together. We have a lot of work to do. And the partnership in between public sector and social economy is certainly the key to build again a reshape on the digital model in Europe. So thank you very much to you all. I propose to let the panelists that should go now go, and to pursue the discussion with those who can stay a bit and the audience here. Thank you very much. And again, thank you to the European Economic and Social Committee for the welcoming, and all the partners, Social Economy Europe, National Agency of Territorial Cohesion, it's a very long thing to say in English, Crédit Coopératif, and all the other partners of this first and certainly not last European Week of Digital Social Economy. Thank you. Any question in the audience for the staying panelists?
Thank you very much. It was very clear. I work for Le Mouvement Associatif, a French association which represents and advocates for non-lucrative organizations, whether they are from sports associations, cultural ones, or environmental ones. My question is to Mr. Baduel. Sorry, you talked about the challenges that we are facing as a European society, helping digital companies to be more ethical and responsible. And the second challenge was if I understood it well, to make social economy actors take advantage of the digital tools. Nowadays, it seems that only IT companies are interested in financing digital transformation of non-lucrative organizations, whether they by their foundation or offering their solution at a lower cost. So my question is this: how far can we go into opening the partnerships with those IT private companies for which we are only markets sometimes, or at least valuable data provider? And I have a second question, you guessed it. So how can we imagine some kind of public financial support that can encourage social economy actors to proceed towards their digital transition, and by doing so encouraging ethical digital transition? Thank you.
Well, that's good questions, and I think we have to talk about it to find good solutions. But basically, as I mentioned, partnerships with good social economy actors on civic tech or digital social actors could be a start to maybe highlight good practices and to see if there's something to generalize through a public policy, or maybe if we have to work with mainstream economy or big IT companies to make them more responsible. Honestly, right now I don't have any solutions, but we can talk about it and we can find solutions together, because the solutions were not from the government and then we apply everywhere in the local level. I think there are different environment and different needs at the local level. So we have to highlight these needs and we have to see if it's something which is national. Maybe it's something with other actors. I think about France Active in France, for example, or maybe other stakeholders, which could be good financiers or could be good capacity building actors. I don't know. And maybe we can see if there's something we have to do to help basically the social economy players, and maybe with other actors we can finance the development, or we can help to finance this transition. But basically, I don't have the solution right now, but I think we can discuss it for the next month.
If I may, I think there's a lot to share in between public actors, because they are getting more and more liberated from the GAFAMs, basically, and social tech providers, because we have digital champion within social economy. We have from Soft, of course, but they don't really want to scale up, so maybe it's not a solution for everyone. But we have a lot. We have a lot of cooperatives with perfectly fitted experts and free software solutions. And I was suggested in San Sebastian, maybe we have to organize our own European social web summit, because it's also the moment to showcase the solution we already have within social economy, in order to build a short circuit court, in between the social tech providers and all the other social economy organizations that need tools. And sometimes we can also create commons or new standardized digital services with the mass of the use that are pretty similar, in fact, in social economy. So we don't really have to rely on the market provider. I think we can create our own social tech economy and scale it up. It's my own opinion. And for the recall, state member can become shareholder of cooperatives, and Lamenum is a perfect illustration.
If I may, I add, we don't forgot that many social economy organizations are also enterprises. Social enterprises, cooperatives, and there is many support coming from the European Union and from the government for innovation, technological innovation for enterprises. First for SME, and so we can learn to use this kind of resources, because sometimes we are not so skilled to compete with any other kind of enterprise to bring this kind of resource. But there is a lot of resources to support SME innovation. The second is one infrastructure created by European Union and the member state is Digital Innovation Hub. Digital Innovation Hub is one service created in whole country in Europe, supported by European Union. Now there is a new form, it's a European Digital Innovation Hub. And if you put mind on, you check the participation in this service, the social economy enterprise is lack, but is not. There is not a. Is not forbidden to participate, and Digital Innovation Hub can be really interesting. And there is also some experience. In Italy, for example, we are creating in a place where in the 2015 is realized the Expo, one specific organization, is called MIND, and there is a A-level hospital and center of research. There is enterprises, market enterprises, very big, and there is also social economy organization, and the aim is to create a intersectorial place to create innovation, and this is one of the European Digital Innovation Hub. We are creating this place, and there is a social economy organization, enterprises, public sector, investors, and it's a center to develop some kind of innovation. This is one example to create partnership to promote innovation.
Quick point, so thank you. The Web Social Innovation Summit that you mentioned as an example, as a way to access and come into contact with some of the leading digital social innovations. But the Digital Innovation Hub, could that be established in close proximity to refugee camps? I mean, social economy, I see it as solving social problems. So how can we provide access to healthcare and education through digitization, and also and there's an opportunity to empower people in the camps to work remotely, leveraging AI or I forgot now the tool, ChatGPT, and these kind of AI tools, and empowering them with future skills, and critically with locals. In fact, it should be focused on local communities that want to be empowered with these new tools and be involved in those, but in close proximity with marginalized communities, and in this instance with refugees, to have at least 2, 3, 4 hubs that we can start piloting these new ways of people that want to use them. If we want to transform to use telehealth, the general population is not going to use it. They're going to want to go to the doctor. But people that don't have access will, and that's a way of how we can accelerate those kind of solutions into the rest of the economy. So, and I think that's of the Web Summit could be a way of identifying the leading innovations in the social, and then seeing how through partnerships can we work together with those to put them into the market.
Sure, because there's plenty of digital solution for the refugee issue within social economy, but we have to maybe create a European network also, because they are not in connection with each other. No further questions? Okay, so I will end this amazing discussion. Thank you again to you all. And let's meet next year to see what's progressed. Thank you very much.